Hey everyone, Eric Holmesmeyer here. I've been studying the different kinds of plants that can attract beneficial insects to provide pest control in your garden for maybe a good 25 years or more at this point. First published those in the Edible Forest Gardens books. But there's a lot of wonderful resources that have come out since then. So I've been sort of integrating those as I go. And in particular, I moved to a new farm 2 years ago. So now I have a very, serious excuse for how to go forward and make this happen. Um, get the right plants, get them here, and so on. Um, I'm going to walk you through those in a minute. And if you were interested in learning more, I've posted the article with more detail at perennialsolutions.org. And if you really want to learn more, I'm doing a workshop on advanced edible forest gardens this June 21st to 23rd here at my farm in Massachusetts. You can learn more about that or sign up at advancedforestgardens.eventbrite.com. So I'm gonna share screen here and just walk you through this really fun list of plants and what I've been learning. And the key thing is there are so many species that you could plant. How would you know? How would you decide which to do? I believe I've found a way to help you choose. And we're looking here at multiple different categories. First, there are a couple of genera of bees that are most important for pollinating our fruit and vegetable crops. Second, there are a couple of key genera of wasps that are predators or parasitoids of pests. Then there are some flies and beetles that do pollinating. Hummingbirds not only pollinate, but also are fantastic eaters of insects, especially spotted-winged Drosophila, which is a big deal for berries right now. And also some of these plants are the larval host, meaning the leaves on which the eggs are laid of various butterflies and moths, which are also pollinators. So we're looking at kind of this broad range of different ways to bring around organisms that provide pollination or pest control in the garden. And what I found is that there are 10 genera that have almost all of those categories checked off that are attractive to a wide range of these desirable organisms in the garden. These are native plant genera to the eastern and central US and southeastern and south central Canada. They can really serve as an anchor to your plantings. And if you don't have a lot of money or a lot of space, a small planting of these can provide very much of what you need, although really you want it to be part of a balanced breakfast of pollinator plants being offered all through the years and through all through the season. And some plants are particularly good for a subset of these and not for others, like cardinal flower for butterflies, or wild center for bumblebees. Those are great. Here we're just looking at the ones that provide a wide cafeteria for a whole bunch of other desirable organisms. And we're looking also at their flowering season. You want to provide something flowering all through the season for the organisms that are looking for nectar. So this is a rough flowering calendar. Again, you probably want to supplement this with all kinds of other native species, or non-native species for that matter, for pollinators. But this is a very good place to begin. So let's meet the plants. The first one are the false indigos, which are great nitrogen fixing plants anyway. As you can see, they're very high value for crop pollinating bees, and they have high value to a number of other organisms, other bees and wasps, pollinating beetles. They're a larval host and so on. So a valuable array of services offered by the amorphous species. Also, I think very beautiful. We have the milkweeds, which very, widely appreciated already for their value to certain pollinators and as a larval host for monarch butterflies. But as you can see, they're also very valuable for the wasps that help protect our crops for other bees. They're great for hummingbirds. So really an outstanding choice for a huge range of the kinds of organisms we're hoping to attract to the garden. We have the various members of the genus Monarda, the bee balms, bergamots, a bunch of other ones there. Outstanding for wasps, outstanding for hummingbirds, really great across the board for other organisms. A real neighborhood hub for desirable organisms in the garden. We have New Jersey tea, which isn't spectacular on anything, but is great all across the board. Also fixes nitrogen as well. So everybody seems to like New Jersey tea. We have the cherries and plums, native cherries and plums, outstanding for the bees that serve as pollinators to our crops, an outstanding larval host for butterflies and moths, and very useful across the board to all kinds of organisms. Also early flowering, which is appreciated. The mountain mints, which are a lovely group of native mints that don't run, aren't so aggressive as proper mints. Really extraordinary for all kinds of bees and wasps, and other kinds of pollinators. This is a really great. When you look at them when they're in flower, they're always surrounded by a huge diversity of insects. The goldenrods, and there's a couple of genera of goldenrods. They've been split recently, but again, outstanding for all kinds of bees and wasps, and very useful to almost everybody else as well. So a really important group, some of which are very beautiful. We have the asters, recently split into a whole bunch of genera that I won't get into here. I do mention that in the article. But really outstanding for wasps and bees, great for a whole bunch of other organisms, also very pretty, of course. The willows, so they're an extraordinarily good host for different species of caterpillars, and of good use to lots of different kinds of pollinators. The real advantage is they're one of the very first things to flower in spring, very early spring, so valuable as an early source of nourishment to those organisms. And then we have Alexanders. There's a lot of members of the umbel family. For some reason, they don't seem to have been studied a whole lot in the resources I've been using. I've always thought they're really an outstanding group. But one which there is good research on is the Alexanders genus, Zizia. And as you can see, they're pretty darn good across the board, and valuable as well because of early flowering. They might not have made the cut otherwise, but because they're early flowering, that is really important to have nectar all through the year. And that is what we have to offer in terms of these the super plants for nectaries. So once again, if you're interested in learning more, you can read the article, download the article for free at perennialsolutions.org. And if you want to sign up for the course, you can check it out at advancedforestgardens.eventbrite.com. Thanks a lot.